Nimon, oh Nimon, it is I, sole lead. Nimon, oh Nimon.
Hello Whovians and welcome to my latest Doctor Who review, where today I review The Horns of Nimon, starring Tom Baker as the 4th Doctor and Lalla Ward. Okay, The Horns of Nimon. So the plot of this particular Doctor Who story is as follows. When the TARDIS collides with a spaceship en route to the planet Skonos, the 4th Doctor, Romana and K9 soon uncover the horrific truth about its cargo. The ship is carrying young sacrifices for a powerful, horned creature called the Nimon. But why is the creature so desperate for the delivery, and what other dangers await the time travellers? All will be revealed at the centre of the Labyrinth power complex on Skonos. Okay, that's the general plot of the Horns of Nimon. Oh god, you know, the Horns of Nimon, I gotta say, this is a really bad Doctor Who story. I mean, it's probably a bit better than the past 2 stories, but again, not much of a compliment. But it's a hat trick. The last 3 stories have all been very bad, and unfortunately the Horns of Nimon sends this series out with a whimper. Although technically speaking, it isn't the series finale, because Sharda, which was at the time unfinished because of a strike, is now finished in its animated form, and that will be the next review. I will be reviewing the animated version of Sharda, but so technically this isn't the season finale, but at the time this was the last story of the 70s, and unfortunately it ends the 70s on a complete whimper. As well, this is Dudley Simpson's last story as composer for the show, and bless him, he tries his best to make the story sound amazing. But for me, The Horns of Nimon, it's just a very silly Doctor Who story. It's just silly, and I mean, the story itself is okay. There isn't really much to it. They're basically just trying to stop these kids from being sacrificed to the Nimon, and by this guy called Soldeed, who serves the Nimon, who I parodied in my skit. You know, he goes around saying, "Nimon, Nimon, it is I, Soldeed, Nimon." And he also goes around saying, "My dreams of conquest." He is so hilariously bad in this story. He's so over the top that, I mean, I was cracking up to the entirety of the story. The actor, who is Graham Croden, who plays Soldeed, he is deliciously over the top. So if you watch the story for anything, watch it for him, because he's hilariously bad and over the top. I think he is hilarious. The Nimon themselves look awful. They look ridiculous, because you've basically got these guys, I mean, they're basically Minotaurs, or Minotaurs if you live in the US. And they're basically these skinny guys wearing these massive masks, and it really, the scale wise, it looks odd. It looks really odd, and it makes them look silly, especially with the way they move. They move very robotically, because it looks like the actors can't see where they're going, so they kind of struggle to move around in them. What they should have done was they should have got bodybuilders or people who are physically buff to be the Nimon. Then it would have at least looked scary. They look ridiculous, and they don't look threatening at all. So I think that they were terrible. To be honest, they were terrible. I'll give the story credit. It does have some good things. Tom Baker as the Doctor is always very good, even though he gets a bit less to do in this one, because Lalla Ward takes a bit more of a lead as Romana, and she's very good in the story. She's really, really good, and she's kind of the best thing about the story, really. And she gets her own sonic screwdriver as well, which is good. Sadly, though, I don't think she ever uses it again, but still, it's nice that they gave Romana a big central role here, and she kind of is taking on more of the role that the Doctor would have. The Doctor does kind of come in and take part in the story, but he does get a lot less to do, which is a shame. But he does get to bond more with K9, which is nice. Again, K9, David Brierley, it still doesn't work for me. There's even a funny moment where he coughs, he goes which cracked me up. But yeah, K9 just has some really silly lines as well. I mean, the dialogue is really silly as well, especially for Sol Deed. Sol Deed's dialogue is really silly and over the top. I just laughed. I laughed at the story, not with it. There is a difference. The production design is great, the sets do look good, but honestly, this story is a real stinker. It's, I mean, it's not a complete disaster, but it really isn't very good, and it's boring as well. It kind of drags on for 4 parts, and nothing really happens in the story. It's a very paper-thin story. What I will say, though, is the supporting cast, being all young kids, like teenagers, it's nice to have a few more younger faces in the supporting cast. I'll give them that. You've got these 2 young characters called Seth and Tekka. Tekka doesn't really do much, but she's like the main female in the supporting cast, but she's okay, you know, from what she has. But the main sort of guy in the supporting cast is Seth. Seth is this boy who is believed to be a chosen one who will defeat Sol Deed and the Nimon and whatnot. It's a load of hullabaloo, really. He doesn't add anything to the story. It doesn't go anywhere. And of course, he does defeat Sol Deed. In the end, he shoots Sol Deed. Not that I care. And that's really it. I mean, the voice of the Nimon, you know, they sound okay, I suppose. I mean, they sound better than they look, that's for certain. But yeah, the other character is Sezom, played by John Bailey. He's a guy who's kind of survived on the Nimon world for a long time. So he's quite an interesting character, I guess. But really, there isn't much to this story. It's really boring. It's really silly, very bland. You know, the actors are really trying. They are trying their best to make this story work, but this story is completely silly. And I mean, I could watch it again for a laugh if I was drunk, maybe, like because of Sol Deed. I mean, Sol Deed cracks me up. Like, as I parodied in the beginning, like that bit at the beginning, he's going down the hallway going, "Nimon, oh Nimon, it is I, Sol Deed." It's ridiculous. It really is. But the costumes as well, I think, are also ridiculous. The people who serve Sol Deed, and Sol Deed himself, I think all the costumes look way too over the top as well. And there's also a guard as well. I don't know what his name is, but he's a guy. He gets killed by Sol Deed because he thinks. Well, no, sorry, not by Sol Deed. He gets killed by the Nimon because the Nimon says, "Oh, I didn't want any sacrifices to be brought to me. Now I'm going to kill you." It's a bit like stupid the reason he dies, but the way he acts is just really over the top. There's really not much to say about the Horns of Nimon. It's a really disappointing story. I also think the effects are pretty bad in the story. I don't like the model work that much. I don't think it looks very good, even for the very late 70s. And the sort of green screen effect of the portal, which leads to the Nimon lair, not very good. It doesn't look convincing. I mean, it's not like it's not like Underworld. It's not like where it's so obvious that it's unwatchable. It is watchable, but it's just a bit. I mean, it's very dated, of course, but it just doesn't really look right. It doesn't suit the story, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. So that's kind of it, really. The very brief review. Not much to say. Sol Deed is hilarious, but for the wrong reasons. So, I guess I will have to give the Horns of Nimon a 4 out of 10. And also a quick mention to Alan Kalo. I know I did a text thing at the beginning, but Alan Kalo, he basically did the same sketch for his original review of the Horns of Nimon. However, he's taken down his old Doctor Who reviews and he's re-editing them for his channel. And unfortunately, his sketch isn't going to be there. Well, at least not in visual form. So I asked Alan if it was all right to homage his sketch if I put my own spin on it, and if I credited him in the video, and he graciously allowed me to do that. So Alan Kalo, thank you very much, buddy. I hope it was all right, and I hope I didn't rip off your sketch too much. So yeah, that being said, we now move on to the 6th and final story of season 17, and I'm sorry, thank God. This season has been tough to get through, it really has. And then we only have one more season left of Tom Baker, so it's going to be interesting. Next time on Doctor Who Review is the very much completed Shada. Well, it is completed now, and Nicholas Payne has lent me the Blu-ray Steelbook, so thank you very much, Nick, and I will return it to you very soon. Tomorrow, I review Shada. Stay tuned for that, folks. I'm sorry this review has come very late today, but I've been a bit busy today. But I mean, at the time I'm recording this, it's like very late in the evening on Tuesday, the 26th of May. So yeah, but it was the only time I could do the review. But anyway, I'm going to be finished with Tom Baker soon, so there we go. Right, okay, that's it for the Horns of Nimon. Thank you very much for watching this review, and stay tuned next time when we review the season finale, which is Shada. So until next time, see you soon. Bye for now.